Welcome back to SteamRoom, and just a quick fun fact here. Ancient people who used to live next to the desert used to use cactus syrup in alcoholic beverages. So all you alcoholics, listen up, this one is for you. All kidding aside, it may sound strange to some of you that have never used this stuff, but let me assure you, this is not what you would expect. Inawera Cactus is described as a sweet and sour cactus fruit with a hint of aloe vera in the background, brilliant together with banana, very refreshing and relaxing, undiluted concentrated flavoring by Inawera. And when they say undiluted, they mean that. So if you buy this ingredient, you're definitely going to want to dilute it. A single drop of Inawera Cactus will change your entire mix if added in an undiluted form. So diluting this ingredient to a 10% dilution is going to be advised. At 1% it will all but dominate a mix. A lot of mixers have said to crank up the other flavorings in your mix. But as I'm sure you already know, hitting the flavor ceiling on flavors can produce some not so pleasant results. Those results can include harshness, muting of other flavors, and to be completely honest, there's no reason you should have to compensate with additional flavoring just by adding another flavor. To me, that's not being cost efficient. I personally like to keep my mixes as cost efficient as possible. So diluting it will also allow you to really hone in on that percentage that you're looking for. It's sold by many vendors from 10 mil all the way up to 16 ounces, and from what I've seen, it's running about $2.99 for a 10 mil all the way up to $67 for the big boy bottle. This is a sweet green juicy flavor, and holy hell is it juicy. I put emphasis on juicy because even at 0.5% in an undiluted form will leave you dripping at the chin if you add this to any recipe. I also want to point out that the aloe vera portion of the description isn't at all accurate. I mean, it is, but it isn't. I say that because it can be masked very easily. Masked. I know I may be messing that up a little bit. M-A-S-K-E-D. Masked. But let me also add this here. If this goes onto your coils, it's most likely not coming out until you change your coils or your cotton. Ideal recipes for this ingredient include candy, jelly, juice, wine, drinks, although it can be a great addition to any fruit or dessert mix in varying percentages. The best pairings that I have found for cactus include citrus, lime, nectarine, peach, and berries, but there are a great number of additions that you can add to that. There's really no substitute for this ingredient for me to mention. I'll start including that in spotlights for the future for those of you that are interested in an ingredient's particular characteristics and applications but don't necessarily have that ingredient on hand. I was considering this after going over notes from the previous spotlight videos that I've done. Now let's talk a little bit about the mixing range. I'm going to personally recommend this from 0.1 to 1% in an undiluted form, although I've heard of people mixing it all the way up to 5% in an undiluted form. Now if a straight prickle pear is what you're after, 5% is probably going to be your sweet spot. But for most people, I'm willing to bet that they'd like to taste something other than pear in their mix. I tried it at 5%, and no matter what I added to it, the only thing that I could taste was cactus. So if you want to experiment yourself, mix it at 5% and let me know the results. I mean, taste is definitely subjective. This ingredient is a valuable addition to your collection because it is versatile, and it can play a number of roles in helping you accomplish that goal profile you have in mind. The judgment on this ingredient is that it's worth it if you're looking to juice up your mixes. If you've had cactus fruit before, this will very much be your cup of tea. At the time of recording, Ecigexpress had this ingredient in a 10 ml bottle for $2.99. So if you've never experimented with this flavor, now's the time to do it at a very reasonable price. Be sure to stamp your thumb of approval below and subscribe if you haven't. Stick around for future updates from SteamRoom, and until next time guys, it's been a pleasure. Cloud salute.